invest we have. It is more important than gold. It's more important than all the things we can do. That is why, intentionally, I have decided that we are going to invest sufficient resources in making sure that we develop our human capital. How so? You know, if our human capital is the most important asset that we have, we must sharpen it. We must have proper knowledge. We must empower our human capital through knowledge, through training, and through skills development. And that is the reason why the first assignment that I took into consideration when I was elected president is to make sure that I sort out education in Kenya. You remember when we were campaigning, many people were asking why we should continue with CBC. Many were saying CBC should be abolished. Many were saying our universities. In fact, they were not saying. The reality is that our universities were struggling, including Masinde Muliro, because of the funding model that we had that time. And therefore, it was necessary for us to organize education. Why did I take up that responsibility? Because it's a very difficult responsibility. Because dealing with children, dealing with parents is not a very easy thing. In fact, I was told by my predecessor that this one is very difficult. And that is why many people did not want to touch reform in the education sector. But I had the option of doing nothing about our education sector because it is difficult. But I also had the other option of doing something about it. Maybe difficult, but getting it right. And I chose the latter. That's why I put together a task force led by Professor Munavu, put our education experts together, and they came up with a plan that we have implemented. In that plan, we have sorted out our CBC challenges. We have sorted out the transition from ECD to primary school, to junior school, to senior school, and now to university. The pathway is now clear for all parents. It was also necessary to close the gap on teacher employment. If there are representatives of NAT here, they will tell you we had a gap of 116,000 teachers that were not in class. It is the reason why by January next year, we will have hired 100,000 teachers. We will be remaining only with 16,000 because I made a commitment to Kenya that I will close the gap on teacher enrollment. And number 3, we changed, on recommendation of the task force, the funding model. Today, I've had an engagement with Vice Chancellor here. And Vice Chancellor confirms to me that the new student-centered model is working for him. He can pay his staff, he can pay his bills or his suppliers, and he can run courses in the university, unlike the difficulties we had under the old under the old model. So I wanted to sort out education. Why? Because unless we sort out education, we will not be able to sufficiently empower young people and our human capital to be able to deliver for Kenya. So that's number 1. Number 2, it was necessary as we spend money in primary school, secondary school, TVETs, and universities. And by the way, just to give you numbers, we are spending 650 billion Kenya shillings every year in educating our population. from primary school to university. 650, 30% of our budget goes to education. I took up the responsibility and said, it is not right for us to spend 30% of our resources, 650 billion every year, to educate our children, yet we don't have a plan on what happens when they finish school. The same way we have a plan on making sure all our children go to school, we should also have a plan on what they do when they come out of school. And for the first time, we developed a deliberate, intentional plan on how to engage the young people of our nation in deliberate government programs supported by the private sector so that we can create opportunities for young people. Because the single biggest problem with young people, if you ask them, is employment. Ni kweli ama si kweli?